this meeting of the Chippewa County Board of Commissioners to order. As always, we start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Will Commissioner Johnson start us in the pledge, please?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And will the clerk please take roll call attendance?
Commissioner Egan.
Here.
Commissioner Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Martin.
Here.
Commissioner McLean.
Here.
Chairman Shackleton.
Here. And everybody is here. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Chairman,
Yes.
I'd like to add resolution 1508 for the dark stores. We could
Okay.
consider that tonight.
Is there, let's call that a motion. Is there support?
I'll support.
So motion and support to add the resolution 1508 to the agenda. Is there discussion on it? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. And if you have any comments on that, we'll be dealing with it towards the end of the meeting. With that, we just need an approval of the board agenda unless there's further changes.
I'll move approval as amended.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the agenda as submitted. Is there discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We move to the approval of county board minutes, starting with, well, we just have one set of minutes to approve. It's the regular meeting, April 13th, 2015.
I move approval.
I'll support.
Motion made and supported to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting of April 13th, 2015. Is there discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We have correspondence received in the clerk's office. That is on page 11 of your packet. As always, we receive a variety of correspondence.
I'd move we acknowledge the correspondence received in the clerk's office and if necessary, forward them to the appropriate committees.
I'll second that.
Motion made and supported to acknowledge the correspondence received in the clerk's office and forward as appropriate. Is there discussion?
Oh, real quick. When's next meeting of the Michigan Township Association, Chippewa?
Do you
Does
know?
anybody know?
I don't know.
I'm sorry?
Third Thursday? There you go, third Thursday.
Thank you very much. Do we know the location this time? Kinross? Thank you.
You're just showing off now.
21st.
Okay, we still have the motion before us. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We move to public comments. Welcome, everybody. This is the public comment portion of the evening. We've heard a lot of you folks at the last meeting and really appreciated your comments, and I think you were heard quite clearly. But if there's anybody who'd like to speak tonight, this is your opportunity. I would just ask you to come up to the desk. There's a microphone there with a light on. And no, over here, please, Tom.
Oh,
Yeah.
right here?
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you for hearing me. And thank you for the preliminary support at last county commission meeting for a drug court. There were a couple of concerns raised, however, by a couple of people on the board regarding they weren't sure it could save money for the county if we had a drug court. As a matter of fact, a couple thought it might cost more money in the long run than a court would actually reduce spending on. Well, I'm here to read a few things that are easily found if you go on, just Google in yourself, how do drug courts save communities money? And if you'll bear with me, let me go ahead and read this. I'm hoping this is going to ease your mind and feel better about supporting this very, very worthwhile project. It comes from the National Association of Drug Court Professionals, which is a national organization that's been involved in drug courts all over the United States for quite a while. And it starts out by saying drug courts work. 75% of adult criminal drug court graduates never see another pair of handcuffs. That's 75%. Now, compared to people who go to prison and come back out. You can't say that, that's for sure. The verdict is in. In 20 years since the first drug court was founded, there has been more research published on the effects of drug courts than on virtually all other criminal justice programs combined. All other criminal programs designed, justice programs combined. The scientific community has put drug courts under a microscope and concluded that drug courts work better than jail or prison, better than probation and treatment alone. Drug courts significantly reduce drug use and crime and are more cost-effective than any other proven criminal justice strategy. I'm going to leave copies of all this for you too, if you want to look at it again. Drug courts reduce crime. Under drug courts reduce crime, the fact is, nationwide, 75% of drug court graduates remain arrest-free at least 2 years after leaving the program. Another fact, rigorous studies examining long-term outcomes of individual drug courts have found that reductions in crime last at least 3 years and can endure for over 14 years. Another fact under drug courts reduce crime. The most rigorous and conservative scientific meta-analysis have all concluded that drug courts significantly reduce crime as much as 45% more than other sentencing options, some of which are practiced in this county as well. Under drug courts save money. This is the concern that I think Mr. Martin had. He was echoing Mr. Shackleton's concern about saving money. Nationwide, for every $1 invested in drug court, taxpayers save as much as $3.36 in avoided criminal justice costs alone. So the leverage is very significant. For every $1 spent, $3.36 are leverage. Fact, under drug court save money. When considering other costs, such as savings from reduced victimization, healthcare service utilization, studies have shown benefits range up to $27 for every $1 invested. So it's not just the person who is addicted that benefits from a drug court. There's $27 realized in the community as well for every $1 spent. Drug courts produce cost savings ranging from $3,000 to $13,000 per client. These cost savings reflect reduced prison costs, county jails costs, revolving door arrest and trials, and reduced victimization. It's hard to put a cost on the victimization part of this, but you can certainly appreciate what they're talking about here. Under drug courts save money, it also goes on to say, this goes back, because this is a 20-year study actually. In 2007, for every federal dollar invested in drug court, $9 was leveraged in state funding, and that's gone up since. These are a little bit dated. Drug courts ensure compliance. That simply means if a person goes through a drug court, compliance with becoming law-abiding citizens is far superior to what happens if you're put in a county jail or in prison for a long sentence. Fact, unless substance abusing addicted offenders are regularly supervised by a judge and held accountable, 70% drop out of treatment prematurely. Now my son went to a 21-day wonder program in Marquette, and there was more drugs available right there than there was if he'd stayed here. It's crazy, some of this stuff. But if it's a judge supervised or a supervised hardcore almost boot camp atmosphere for somebody in drug court, the success rate is higher, much higher. Drug courts provide more comprehensive and closer supervision than other community-based supervision programs. We don't have a lot of supervision-based programs in here, other than if you're out on work release or something, they search you when you come back into jail, or sometimes the judge will make you do P-tests, or your employer will do the same thing. So that's really the limit of supervision, no real follow-up programs. Drug courts combat meth addiction, near and dear to me. In fact, for methamphetamine addicted people, drug courts increase treatment program graduation rates by nearly 80%. Now meth is really the bottom of the barrel. Heroin's the next level up, and you work your way up to marijuana, which is still a serious problem around. But 80%, that's pretty darn good. If you're supervised by a drug court, it's 80% success rate. In fact, when compared to 8 other programs, we don't have those kind of programs in Sault Ste. Marie. Drug courts quadrupled the length of abstinence for methamphetamines, quadrupled it. In fact, drug
I'm
courts
sorry, Tom, we're getting close.
Okay, I've only got a couple
Oh,
more seconds.
okay.
I think this is rather important. Drug courts reduce methamphetamine use by more than 50% compared to outpatient treatment alone. Two more. Drug courts restore families. Families are really, my son left 2 children behind. I'm kind of acting along with Shirley as parents for these people, for these kids. Parents in family drug court are twice as likely to go to treatment and complete it. One last statement here. And I have copies of all this for you guys, plus a lot more. So it really addresses the financial part that you're concerned about. Children of family drug court participants spend significantly less time in, out-of-home placements such as foster care. Family reunification rates are 50% higher for family drug court participants. So thank you again for, hearing us last time. And I have copies of all this stuff for each and every one of you. If anybody in the audience, particularly somebody from the press, wants to see some of these stats. I know I was quoted a couple times, and maybe not necessarily accurately, but I'm kind of used to that anyway. But thank you for the time.
Thank you, Tom. Is there anyone else in the public who'd like to speak at this time?
Could I address his concerns at some point?
Well, Ed, yes,
Later, yeah.
absolutely.
Good evening. This is an email that I got. I am Lynn Farnquist, and I'm the Secretary of Families Against Narcotics. And I received this email this afternoon because the lady knew that you were going to be considering the drug court issue tonight. She says, "Hi Lynn, I would go to the meeting if I were in town, but I'm downstate for the week. My son also went to prison for a third offense, drunk driving, no victims. He also was bipolar. When he got out after 3 years, he was never the same. His life spiraled out of control. He was much worse upon being released. It cost him his life. It is very difficult for me to talk about, but I feel he might as well have gotten a death sentence. He was never violent, but had an untreated mental illness that he was sentenced to prison for. If he had gotten long-term treatment for his bipolar disorder, along with substance abuse treatment, I do believe he would still be alive today. He even worked hard to get his business degree. He died at age 31. You can feel free to share this story if you like. Good luck. I really hope this happens for our county." And that is from Jackie Benson. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Anyone else like to speak under public comment?
Honestly, God, I'll be really quick.
That's fine.
I apologize, and thanks for listening to us before. I have 2 things to say, because I had a couple of negative telephone calls at home, and on top of that, I had probably 6 positive ones about this. But my interest or my involvement in FAN started before anything happened to our family. I am and have been for 2 years a volunteer executive director of FAN. I want you to know that this is not going to bring back my granddaughter. I know that this is not going to take my son out of prison, which incidentally, I spent Mother's Day there. And you know what? It was one of the happiest Mother Days I've spent with a great kid. But just to sum it all up, having met with all these wonderful people and all the things that we have tried to do and help and support each other has been tremendous, not only for me, but for all of them too. And as a supporter of FAN, I work for a wonderful gentleman who does not live here. He supports FAN fantastically, thousands of dollars. So if you think everything has to come out of Chippewa County, it doesn't. He doesn't live here. He believes in what we're trying to do as a group, and he will continue to do that. So thanks.
Great, thank you. Anyone else like to speak under public comment? Go ahead. Actually, either one, doesn't really matter. Both mics are on.
Christina Dennison with the Chippewa Loose Mackinac Conservation District. Just wanted to come and give you a quick update on a few things that we're doing recently. The last time I was here, we talked about the Michigan Invasive Species Grant funding, bringing $309,000 in over the next 2 years. We're getting ready to hire 3 new technicians, so we're really excited about that. In addition, we also received some funding from the DNR to do, under their Deer Range Improvement Program, DRIP funding, which takes $1.50 from every deer license that's purchased in the state of Michigan. That has to go back into improving range for deer. So we applied on a really short schedule to get some funding through that, and we were able to secure, I think it was $14,000 to provide over $500 in supplies to 20 landowners to provide 8 apple trees, 12 oak trees, all the fencing, the tree tubes, all the supplies that they need on private land that's adjacent to state land to increase deer habitat range. We've had some tough winters, so we're excited about that. It was a really quick turnaround getting all the landowners signed up, but we did manage to get our 20. 13 were from Chippewa County, we had 5 from Luce County, and 2 from Mackinac County. So that's going, and we're looking at doing that again next year. And then we are also working with the Michigan Association of Conservation Districts, I'm trying to remember all my acronyms, and Consumers Energy and Michigan International Speedway, in their On Track to a Greener Michigan initiative to plant 50,000 white pine seedlings throughout the state of Michigan. They're about halfway there this year. Again, it was another late start program, but we jumped on board, and we will be able to plant about 1,500 white pine seedlings throughout Chippewa, Luce, and Mackinac counties. About 700 will go in Chippewa County this May. I was actually down at Red Yard planting today with first and second graders and their pen pals from Drummond Island. So we're moving and grooving, and just wanted to give you a quick update on some of the things we're doing. So
Thank you. Thanks very much. Anyone else like to speak under public comment? Last chance. Okay, I declare public comment closed, and we move to the administrator's report. Administrator German.
Various reports in front of you: the Department of Veterans Affairs, War Memorial Hospital, the Sheriff's Department, Animal Control, and our first quarterly report from Northern Transitions, which the Commission had requested. Also, as of this morning, for those of you who don't know, our water is now unfrozen and flowing into the courthouse.
Yay.
We've been trying for every week for the past 3 or 4 weeks. It was a little cloudy when it started. We'll probably be doing some testing on it, just to make sure. We did not have any fountains pop up in the yard, which I was very happy with. And I would also like to thank the sheriff for letting us appropriate his water and his water bill. I'm just kidding on that. So that's my report, sir.
All right, thank you. Glad to hear the water's back to normal. We move to old business, and we do not have any itemized items under there. So I will move to new business, which the first item is the reaffirmation of the appointment of Jim Sjogren to replace Bob Wilson on the Department of Veterans Affairs Board of Directors. That term expires on March 31st, 2016. Anybody care to?
I'd move that we reaffirm the appointment of Jim Sjogren to replace Robert Wilson on the Department of Veterans Affairs Board of Directors. And also I would ask that we prepare a resolution recognizing Robert Wilson for his many years of service.
Many years. He was a World War II vet, if I'm not mistaken. Is there a support?
I'll second.
Okay. So we have a motion and support. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We have a resolution, we might as well just do it now under new business. This is resolution 1508 that was added to the agenda. This resolution is dealing with the big box stores who are successfully appealing a tremendous reduction in their valuations and eroding the tax base in many communities, Marquette being the one that's often used as sort of the example. So we have this resolution before us.
I move to support.
I'll second.
So we have a motion made and supported to pass resolution 1508. Is there discussion on the motion?
I think this one's a very important one, and that it needs to get as much press as we possibly can get it.
I did contact, by the way, our state representative and sent him an article on this and told him with great enthusiasm that we need a legislative cure to solve this issue. So hopefully he'll have a chance to look back and let us know what his position is on it as well.
Was he interested in doing a workshop?
Oh, he'd
Scenario with
gladly
us?
do a workshop with us
Okay.
on this or any other issue. He's indicated that to me in the past. So, Commissioner McLean?
Now, we're forwarding this to our legislators, plural, and to whoever else would be able, could impact this decision.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, this can be distributed. I would suggest we distribute, give a copy to MAC and see if they want to distribute it through all the counties, or but Jim, you probably have a listserv with the other administrators throughout the state, and yeah, we'll distribute it widely. And
I think Emmett County definitely needs to get it. They're the closest one that has big box stores like we do.
they sure do.
So it's definitely gonna be an issue for them. So,
Okay. So the issue is before us, and all resolutions are a roll call vote. Will the clerk please take a roll call
Could
vote?
we
Sorry.
educate the public a little bit on this, in case you don't know?
I think we talked about it. I'm sorry. We talked about it kind of at length at the last meeting. I think everybody was here for that. So
Oh, for the,
the issue
Finance?
being, yeah. I
Okay.
think the issue was that I'll just go over it really quick. The issue is, again, as I mentioned, that a lot of these big box stores have been successfully appealing their tax valuations based on them being reevaluated as if the store were vacant. And there are a number of different ways that valuations can be arrived at in the state of Michigan, and they're been winning these, and it's really hurting the tax base in some communities, and of course with that tax base being eroded, it's going to make it all the more challenged to continue to provide good policing and all the other services that are provided. And it's a kind of a strange issue. It just popped up a few years ago, and it's starting to accelerate. So we need a legislative fix.
but it doesn't just erode, it also puts that tax burden on everybody else's back as well.
That's true.
So it's something that affects everybody, whether they
Yeah.
know it or not.
Yeah. Commissioner McLean?
I just wanna mention that, you know, the issue started in the Upper Peninsula in Marquette with Home Depot.
Mhm.
And once Home Depot was able to do that, Menards jumped on, Walmart, I believe in our local community here, Walmart has successfully appealed and their tax rate will be lower. And I heard somewhere that, Kmart had started in that direction, and then there was a public outcry and they decided to back off from it.
Hmm.
So, I mean, it's started in the UP, and
Yeah.
here we are, and it's gonna
It's
have
spreading.
an impact across the state.
It's nice to see that somebody is being corporately responsible, though, that Kmart, which is struggling at this time, is, doing the right thing even though it might not help their bottom line.
All right, will the clerk take a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Egan,
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson,
yes,
Commissioner Martin,
aye,
Commissioner McLean,
Yes,
and Chairman Shackleton.
Yes. So that is passed, and seeing no other new business, we move to standing committee reports. We have one, that includes the finance claims and accounts. That's you, Commissioner Martin.
Regular meeting of Chippewa County Board of Commissioners Finance, Claims, and Account Committee was held on Thursday, May 7th, 2015, at the Chippewa County Courthouse in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. I call the meeting to order at 5:30 p.m. with a quorum present. All members were present. Others present were Chuck Leonard, Margie Hank, Judge James Lambros, Tina Ojala, Stephanie Gordon, Tisha Vols, Nathan Mara, Dennis McShane, Steve Ewing, Joe Claxton, Tom Farnquist, Scott Brand, Eileen Bittner, Angus McCurchie, Corrine Brown, Lisa Gauthier, Rob Stratton, Christine Lundquist, Shirley Lundquist, Sherry Lucas, Alan Lucas, Joe Wondergrim, Joan Claxton, Patrick McElvey, Jim German, and Kelly Church. It was moved by Commissioner Complaints, supported by Commissioner Johnson to approve the agenda as presented, and on a voice vote, that motion carried. we need a,
No.
no, okay. There was then public comment on, from FAN on the need for a drug court. They gave a lot of very good evidence, why it would be a good thing socially and a good thing financially for our community and the state. Also, the committee, the committee also received the March and April Treasurer's Investment Reports, monthly travel report, and the April piece of billing statement. We then had drug court presentation by Judge Lambros, who basically told us that this was not going to be an easy out. He also said that there would this grant is going to run October 1st, that would be 2015 through September 30th, 2016, with a projection showing a county match of $5,552.88 for the current grant and a match of $19,659.80 for the next grant if funding is received. Also broke down the personnel, fringes, contractual supplies, published and travel proposed Chippewa County Drug Court through the 50th Circuit Court. It was moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner Johnson, to approve and support the 2014 application for Michigan Drug Court Grant Program, 50th Circuit Court, for a drug court in Chippewa County based on projections and information provided. On a voice vote, the motion was carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Is there discussion? Commissioner Martin, this will be your opportunity to.
Going back to what Mr. Farnquist said, and this is being nitpicky because we're a county entity. The reality is, unless we can decrease road patrols because crime goes down, unless we can decrease corrections officers in our county jail because crime goes down, or lay off an assistant prosecuting attorney, or lay off a public defender because crime drops so much, this will almost certainly not save the county money. Now, that being said, it will save the state hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and everyone in here is a state taxpayer. So it will save us tax money, period. It will allow money to be more focused and go towards other things, which is very important. Regardless of whether it saves us money, this is a great program. This is going to save lives. It's going to save families. It's going to, even though the recidivism numbers weren't great on juveniles, the fact that we're now going to have kids growing up in homes that are drug-free are going to mean that those kids are less likely to get in trouble. The fact that those children are going to have mom and dad there instead of being in a foster home. Okay, this, you had my support from day one, as soon as I got on here. But I have to, as a county commissioner, make it known that we're probably not going to save much, if any, money at the county level, but we will save hundreds of thousands of dollars. We will save lives, we will save families, and quite frankly, it's worth the investment. I don't care if it costs us money. It is worth the investment. Period. End of story. End of debate as far as I'm concerned. This is something I think is long overdue, but most of us didn't know about it. I didn't know anything about this until you all came to us. I came to your meeting back there in Judge Lambros' chambers, and I'm like, wow, this works. This keeps people out of prison. It will save us a little money on meals if we have fewer people in the county jail, but the real savings is at the state level. But the most important savings are in houses in Chippewa County, and that's what we're elected to do.
And I agree with you, Commissioner Martin. I think that there weren't concerns expressed about the lack of savings. There was a realization that we probably are not going to look at our budget next year and say, oh boy, look, it's not going to, financially, is it going to assist the county budget? Probably not. That's not the motivation here. The motivation here are the concerns that we've been hearing from you. The motivations are that we should be able to help a few people and a few families, and that's why we're moving forward, not to try to save money. Anyone else? We have a motion before us. It is supported. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, vote nay, and the motion carries. So with that, I'll send it back to you, but just so people know what that means is the judge and his team, who've done a lot of work, have brought forward a budget and a plan and just the whole ball of wax of how they're gonna move forward on this. And what we've done is approved it, approved our financial support, and for them to go forward and do it. So go forth and do well. So, all right.
Okay, next item was to approve Blue Cross Blue Shield inmate renewal. Committee receiving a copy of the renewal administrative services contract for the term of July 2015 through June 2016 with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Administrative fees of 11% remain the same. It was moved by Commissioner Egan, supported by Commissioner McLean, to approve Blue Cross Blue Shield administrative services contract for Chippewa County inmates for a term of July 2015 through June 2016 as presented. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported to approve the Blue Cross Blue Shield inmate renewal. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Next
If you-
up.
I'm sorry,
I'm
if you wanna slip out quietly, that's fine, but we won't really be much longer either, so, either way.
Approved career development plan per ASHME. Committee received and reviewed career development and eligibility of ASHME employees to obtain assistance through the county for continuing their education. The plan's been approved by Prosecutor McShane in support of Francie DeCoe to receive a reimbursement of $1,200 per the union contract. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Egan, to approve the $1,200 career development reimbursement to Francie DeCoe. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported to approve that career development plan. Is there discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
We also approved a memorandum of understanding with the state of Michigan for a child care fund. This is going to streamline our handling of the process and information for 85 years, if I read correctly. It was then moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Shackleton, to approve the memorandum of understanding between the state of Michigan and Department of Human Services and County of Chippewa to define the roles and responsibilities of the parties for the financial support of the child care fund. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
I'll support.
Motion made and supported that the memorandum of understanding with the state of Michigan for the child care fund be approved. Is there discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Then the Virginia Walters Fund utilization. Basically what happened is that money has just been sitting in that fund, and nothing's been done with it. We found a way to use those funds in an approved way. Basically CPR, which also saves lives. It was therefore moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Shackleton, to approve the request from the Health Department to utilize the Virginia Walter Fund savings account of $4,491.69 to train and purchase equipment for CPR instructors and to close the account. On a voice vote, the motion carried. That would so move.
I'll support.
Motion made and supported to handle that Virginia Walters Fund in the manner we was outlined. Is there further discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
All right.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Next, we had the bid of the sheriff's vehicles. It was then moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Johnson, to approve the low bid from O'Connor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram for the purchase of two 2015 Dodge Chargers with police package with a total purchase price of $47,034. I guess that would be even. On a voice vote, the motion carried. I would so move.
I'll support that.
Motion made and supported to buy the sheriff two new police vehicles to replace the ones that are no longer reached the end of their, reached the end of their service life or whatever. In any case, the motion's before us. Is there discussion on the motion?
Not to beat a dead horse, but I think it's important that, next year we look into getting trade-in for the vehicles that we're getting rid of instead of maybe throwing several $1,000s away.
Always add that as an option to the bid and see if they'll give you some trade-in dollars for it.
I would say not an option.
Yeah,
That needs to be part of the process of what are you going to give us for them,
Yeah.
and list it as a separate item
Yeah.
of that, so that we can get something out of those, just like we did the snowmobiles. I think it's
Is there further discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
all right.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Then we had a bid summary of the cost allocation plan. for fiscal year 2015, 2016, 2017. This plan is necessary in order to recover indirect costs the state and federal government require. In doing this, we use this report by the friend of the court and the prosecutor's office and for probate court funding. As such, it was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Johnson, to approve the low bid from Maximus Consulting Services in a total amount of $10,500 or $3,500 per year for fiscal year 2015, 16, and 17. Cost allocation plan. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
I support.
Motion made and supported to approve the cost allocation plan award. Is there discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
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 Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Next, jail maintenance. We wanted to approve heat tape for drain pipes on the south side of county buildings so that we don't have the same issues we had last year. Because of that, it was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Egan, to approve the quote from Roy Electric to install heat tape in the drain pipes in the covered parking area on the south side of the jail for an amount not to exceed $2,775. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
I'll support.
Motion made and supported to put heat tape in the drain pipes. All in favor, or any discussion on that? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
The committee also reviewed a second item brought forth by maintenance staff regarding the patching of a 20-foot by 50-foot area on the upper southeast corner of the jail that needed repairs. After looking at that, we thought maybe it'd be a better idea to have some additional quotes and direct the administrator to move forward with the low bid there. So it was moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner Johnson, to authorize the administrator to seek 2 additional quotes on the 20 by 50 area of the jail roof, and to authorize the most value. That's not right. Authorize the least expensive quote for repairs of the 20 foot by 50 foot area. On a voice vote, do we have to do anything with that to change that wording?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think the wording was meant as we talked, we may get 3 quotes, but not all the time is the lowest quote the best quote on that. And we have gotten into situations before with a couple of contractors where the job was not done properly. So I think what the commission's intent was for administration to evaluate the quotes and not only look at the low bid, but the quality of work that the low bidder does.
Okay, who can give me a better synonym than valuable then?
Authorize.
Most cost effective?
The best option is determined by the
prudent
administration.
Prudent?
Yeah, prudent.
Prudent? Can we go with prudent?
We'll go with prudent.
Alright, prudent it is. Nobody here teaches English, eh? Okay, so authorize the most prudent quote for repairs of the 20 foot by 50 foot area. On a voice vote, the motion carried. I would so move.
I'll support.
I will always support prudence. Do we have any news on that? Any updates? Do you have a chance to talk to anybody on it? Not yet? Okay. So we have a motion before us. Is there further discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Claims and accounts. Moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Egan, to recommend the approval of April bills and payroll as follows. The general claims totaling $309,340.72. Other fund claims of $4,098,590.83. Payroll of $453,659.92. For total claims of $4,861,591.47. And vouchers H1 through H338. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported to pay the claims. Is there discussion on that? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Committee members brought up several items, including board meeting time for summer months, which meetings will be at 2 o'clock for months of June, July, and August. Cost savings utilities from NACs were sought, as well as millages for potential county township-wide EMS, in which an authority would need to be developed, and the idea of collecting a veterans millage in continued support of the county's Department of Veteran Affairs. We came to a conclusion on that, right? It was June, July, and August for the 2 o'clock meetings? And I will probably not at the August meeting unless we move it forward, because I'm not leaving 40 kids unsupervised.
That wouldn't seem prudent.
That would not seem prudent. Even if prudent even
Word
if
of the
Prudy was
day.
there. So we talked about moving that either up a week or
Okay,
down the road.
that's August
Or-
though, so we got a little time to
Yeah,
consider it.
or I'm sure Commissioner Johnson would do a fine job in my place.
The other thing that,
should be there.
Kelly had also mentioned in an email that would we consider moving the finance meetings to 2 o'clock as well, or do you want them to stay
No,
at
I'm good.
5:30?
I'm good.
We'll need a motion to approve that, we can't just, can't just nod
Motion.
on that one.
Motion
So-
to,
Change the finance,
motion to change finance committee meeting also to 2 o'clock, for
June, July, and August.
June, July, and August.
I'll support.
Okay, motion made and supported, to change the finance meetings to 2. That keeps it a little simpler that all of our meetings will be at 2. So, is there any further discussion? Commissioner McLean?
We talked also about moving, this morning you and I talked about the idea of moving the finance meeting to this room because of the
Yeah.
acoustics. Everybody, I think most people that were here, or were at the finance meeting last Thursday, had
Yeah.
difficulty hearing, and I'm assuming it's better
Is
here.
it better here or not really? Better? Okay.
Okay, so-
It's, Frank, honestly, it is, in my opinion, it's the call of the chair. Commissioner Martin chairs the finance committee. The previous chairman preferred to have it in the old courthouse. I love that old courtroom, but the acoustics are just awful. It's just hard to hear. But, it's gonna be up to you, Chairman. Do you want to make,
I would so move, 'cause,
Okay.
yeah,
Are we gonna
this is
put
much better.
anybody out by,
That's,
we'll
schedule?
need to make sure, yeah, that Judge Church is able to accommodate us.
Yeah, well, those
That's
2
true.
o'clock meetings might have to be over there, cause
That's
she's
true,
got
too.
court.
That's
But,
true.
but the 5:30 meetings, could we make a motion that the 5:30 meetings get moved to here for finance? Or
Yeah. Well, at this point, yeah, you mean for future meetings?
for future meetings,
Okay.
finance?
So at this point, I don't know, do we need a motion on that, or is that just the chairman's call? Yeah,
Boom.
so there you go, the meetings will be over here.
I guess.
If the court can't accommodate us, it will be posted appropriately where we are meeting. And, hopefully it won't be the lunchroom, okay?
Down in the basement.
It could happen. All right. Do you have anything else? Did you finish your? Almost.
Let's see, yeah, well, we, like I said, that was our big thing, and then we had, idea of collecting veterans millage. If there are veterans or those associated with the Veterans Committee, and you have any needs, please come forward. Because we will do everything we can to help out our veterans. That conclusion was very apparent. But we need to know. If we don't know if veterans have needs, we can't do anything about it. And then the other thing we talked about was the big box store issue with the taxes, with the property taxes. It was then moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Shackleton to adjourn the meeting. And so at 6:55 we did adjourn the meeting.
Was that
And-
Freudian or was that?
To accept the minutes.
And so I would make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I'll support that.
They were holding out on you.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Brings me
Let's move.
Motion made and supported to accept the minutes of the Finance Claims and Accounts Committee meeting of May 7th, 2015. Is there discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We move to Commissioner report on meetings as board representative and their general comments. Anybody have anything you care to share? Commissioner McLean.
I always do, Scott. I guess, one of the comments made during public comment dealt with, not only the drug issue that we have, and we are addressing it with the drug court, but we still have the mental health issue. The lady that, provided the, email that, Christine Lundquist read. I know her personally, and I knew her son. I had him in school. And I've worked through those issues of not having appropriate mental health care also. And I hope that this drug court is a step in the direction of recognizing the mental health issues also. Because those are, you can treat the addiction. My daughter was both dual diagnosed, okay? You treat one, you don't treat the other. It's and she spent many 21-day trips up to Marquette and so on and so forth. And the insurance says 21 days will cure it, or that's how much they'll pay for it. That isn't the way it works. And so it was just a vicious cycle. And I want to acknowledge that our work is just beginning to, relative to helping the people in need out there. And it's something we need to recognize, and hopefully we can get a group as eager to work on mental health issues as is worked on the drug issue.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anyone else?
Well, just to piggyback on that, if you ask anybody in corrections, the number of people who are incarcerated because they have mental health issues is astronomical. And it's unfortunate because I think mental health care is far less expensive than incarceration. And I don't have any numbers to back me up on that, but I bet somebody in here can find out that it's much less expensive to treat mental illness through outpatient care than it is to throw someone in prison, because what they're doing is, like she said, bipolar, and it caused these other issues. And I don't know, except at the grassroots level, having a group like FAN really beat the drums, and because that solution is in Lansing. We can't do that one ourselves. Lansing shut down the mental health hospitals, and they need to open them back up if we're going to address that problem.
Mental health remains one of those taboo issues that people don't like to talk about. It's much easier to label somebody as a criminal or as an outsider than it is to actually try and help them. So it is something very, very important that, needs to be addressed, and I don't know how we go about it at the county level, but something needs to be done more than is happening right now.
Okay, anyone else under commissioner comments or general comments? Or report on meetings? Anybody care to offer a motion for adjournment?
Motion. I'll make it.
I'll support.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion made and supported to adjourn. Any discussion? All in favor, vote aye. Motion carries.
Leaves me hanging.
Meeting's
today.
adjourned.
Jeez.
We're just messing with you.
I did not want to shave.